Come on down, Miss Ashley.
Hi,
How
how
are
are
you,
you?
beautiful?
Thank you. So do you.
Aw, thank you. So welcome, guys. Welcome to Sheen Talk Live. My name is Jacqueline Valdez. I'm your host today. I'm so excited to introduce this incredible, inspiring woman who is a New York Times bestselling author. So how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, hanging in there. So you have
Me
so
too.
many exciting things happening for you. So tell me first about your digital book club. This is so exciting.
Yes, so I've been writing for about 17 years now. So over
Okay.
that time span, I've developed a really, really loyal fan club. They call
Oh,
themselves Dash Army. They're amazing. They're super supportive.
oh,
But most of all, it's an interactive experience.
nice.
So I'm not one of those authors that's like unreachable. Like they literally talk to me every day. We have communication every day. I support their businesses.
Wow.
I help finance and fund some of their businesses. So
Oh,
it's a very intimate relationship between me and my fans.
very cool.
So I wanted to create an app that was a hub for that, was a hub for
Okay.
Black readers to connect with Black authors in an intimate way.
Nice.
I wanted to take control of my brand, of my intellectual property, and create a
Wow.
space for me to deliver innovative forms
Yeah.
of storytelling to them. So it's really a way for me to take control of the brand that I've built over the past 17
Wow.
years since I've been in the business.
That's so exciting. That's so incredible. And you have so much love for you. Everyone is hashtagging Ash Army.
Yeah.
Love you guys. That's awesome. So how did you get started in writing? Was it something that you knew as a little girl you wanted to do, or was there something that triggered it?
I did not know. I
Okay.
feel like this is a path that God placed me on. So when I was 16 years old, I moved out with my then boyfriend. He's my husband now. Um,
Okay.
we were yeah, we were in
Congrats.
very, very early. And ironically, our first date was actually at a bookstore,
Oh, wow.
so literature was always a part of our bond and our
Okay.
existence. But I got pregnant really early. As soon as we moved out together, we were expecting our first kid. I
Oh,
was 17 and he was 18. And you would think that we would be terrified of the
right.
journey that we were getting ready to embark on, but we were excited. We wanted to
Oh,
see what love would look like in human form, between the
right.
two of us. So we were, saving and buying things and
Yeah.
just over the moon about this pregnancy. And one night I woke up and I experienced an ectopic pregnancy. I
Oh,
was rushed to the hospital. I was rushed into emergency surgery. And after that, I just had a hard time. I was really
yeah.
young. Emotionally, I wasn't prepared to deal with a loss that great.
I can.
And it was a lot of pain. So
Yeah.
he had the genius idea to challenge me to a writing contest. So
Wow.
he wrote a book and I wrote a book, and he was in the streets back then, like we were super young, um,
Right.
and just kind of living wrong. So when he would
Right.
leave, to go to the block, I would read what he had written just to make
Wow.
sure that my writing was a little bit better. Um,
Cute.
but myself, like really like just indulging and engaging in his story, it was like one of the best things I had ever read. So
Yeah.
I proposed that we join and merge the stories, and we did that. We locked ourselves in the house for like 2 weeks, and we ended up finishing our very first book,
That's
called
incredible.
yeah, it was on shelves like a year later.
Wow. Congrats. That's so
Thank
exciting. And
you.
it's so nice and it's so beautiful to see that a tragedy and that pain created something so beautiful in the end. And that
Thank you.
you're
It
so
did.
open and vulnerable with your life and with your fans.
Well, I feel like every woman has a story, and me experiencing that at that age. So when you're younger and you're going through so much, you don't really understand where all this pain is coming
Yeah.
from. You don't understand why it's your life and why it's happening to you. But
Yeah.
the older that I got and the more I began to pour my experiences and my pain and all of the things that I was going through and have been through in my life into my work, it
Right.
allowed other people to connect to it and engage and really, see these characters that I create as real people. I like to say
Yeah.
that my pages have a pulse. So it just made my work relatable. It gave me content to write about.
That's incredible. Yeah, and I feel like it's such a good thing that you're using your platform to help inspire others and to let them know that they're not alone and that other people are probably going through this, but they're just scared to talk about it.
Yeah, I think that as women, especially women of color, we're
Yes.
expected to be strong. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that is something that's placed on us from a very early age. Like this whole magical thing, Black girls are magical. I don't
Yes.
really subscribe to that because at the end of the day, I'm human, you know,
Yes.
and I don't want to have to carry a huge burden of pain in
Yeah.
order for someone to acknowledge my greatness. So I think talking about it gives other women the courage and the strength to talk about their experiences. I've connected with fans over fertility issues and you know, being fearful of what having an ectopic pregnancy means for future, you know, for future children. And I put that in my stories and in my characters. And I mean, I feel like I create an escape for women to have emotions on the page.
And that's huge because, like you said, it's hard to have emotions. And I hear so much from a lot of Black women that is programmed when they're younger to, you have to be strong, stay strong. And so it's a common thing I'm definitely hearing, and I, you know, feel for you guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what is your favorite work that you've put together?
So I answer that differently. Depending on which catalog you asked about. So because I started writing with my husband, we still write together to this day. We just released 2 books over the summer. Our biggest franchise to this day is the Cartel series.
Wow.
It was just a career-making series. We were the youngest Black authors to make the New York Times list when it debuted. So it's done huge things for, you know, our careers. So I always have to mention that one. But my favorite solo title would be my Ethics series. It's just taught me to elevate my pen in such a unique way. I've written that series. It's a 6-book series. It has a 3-book spinoff. So I'm like 10 books into this world. And it's for women, you know, it's for women. It creates a hero out of a Black man. And a lot of times you don't see that in fiction. You know, you see them villainized in the media, you see them villainized on films, on TV. In my books, these men carry this entire world and they're phenomenal. You know, they're beautiful Black men. So I think that is the series that I'm most endeared to under my solo brand.
Nice. So how long does it take you sometimes to actually create these pieces of work?
Every author will give you a different answer. I write pretty quickly. So Ethic 1 debuted, I want to say like April 2018. And to date, I've written like 10 stories on that series. So I was releasing books like every other month. Like I was so inspired and just so passionate about what I was writing about that I was writing like a book in a month. It was just kind of like nonstop. I would wake up at like 3 a.m. Just to get things down on paper so that I wouldn't forget them. That's not a typical, you know, time frame for an author to write a book.
Yeah, it was like you were a vessel and you were just meant to, you know, things to come out of you and you were just being inspired. And I love that.
I was just tapping into a level of creativity that I hadn't experienced yet. I think that every artist has that one project, whether, you know, they're a musical artist, a musician, you know, a writer, or whatever, you know, they have that one moment in their life where they just, it's not an option to not create. And that's where I am right now in my career. So I'm writing things at an unrealistic speed.
That's very cool, though. That's very exciting. You have so much love for you. Everyone loves you and your husband.
Thank you.
Nice. Yes. So what was it like when you found out? What was the feeling when you found out that you were a best-selling author?
It was validation. So for a long time, like I said, we're from Flint, Michigan. So we didn't have like great role models growing up. You know what I mean? Like we came from literally from the streets. There were, you know, we lived in bad neighborhoods. We were, you know, under the poverty line. He was hustling, you know, we looked up to like the drug dealers in the community. So we were just not on a path to success at all. So when we first started writing, we were trying to write, you know, just to make money. It was like, okay, how many books can we write to make a certain amount of cash?
Okay.
You know, it still felt like a hustle. So we were just trying to exhaust this means of income, you know, until it fell off, basically.
Right.
But when we made the New York Times list, it really kind of changed our perspective on what we could become and who we could become in a legitimate corporate world. It was like a wake-up call, like, wait, no, this isn't something temporary. This is a career, you know? Yeah, this is like your destiny. So we really began to take our craft super seriously. You know, we gave up everything else that served as a distraction and that could derail us from stepping into our fate. And we just put our pens to paper and began to create a different story for future generations, a different story for our son. So right now we're tapping into our legacy. We want to change, you know, the trajectory for our namesake.
I love that. And you have Butterflies that is out now. So tell me about that.
I do. Butterfly is a spin-off, actually, from the Ethics series. It's about a young girl named Morgan Atkins. And Morgan is just in a period of evolution in her life. I feel like every young woman goes through a phase where she doesn't really know who she is. She discovers that through the mistakes that she makes. And Morgan makes a lot of them. You know, she is a young woman, a beautiful, smart young woman who isn't very confident in her voice yet. And she's discovering self-love by loving other people and losing other people. And she learns throughout this journey that self-love is the greatest love of all. So I am releasing book 3 in December, and I'm penning book 4 right now. So
nice.
A long way from done.
We have so much to look forward to. And it's crazy because I feel like I'm in touch with your book because my huge symbol was the butterfly. I have a dance studio, and our studio symbol used to be the butterfly. My mother passed away, and she was very tied to butterflies. And I've been finding myself lately and having self-love lately that I'm going through. And I just changed my studio from the butterfly to a lotus. So I feel like I'm transformed into my being. So I am super touched by your book.
Yes, I love that. And it's so ironic because Morgan is actually a dancer. So that's so cool.
That's so cool. It was very sweet to talk to you. I love it. So then also tell us more about the Book Lovers app. So how people can get into that and sign up and stuff.
Yes. So the website is www.thebooklovers.co. We are literally mid-development with this app. We're hoping to launch by January. It'll be available in, you know, the Google Play Store, in the Apple iOS Store. But it's for book lovers of all kinds. You know, if you are the type of person that you'd rather, you know, curl up and read and chill on a Saturday night instead of being on the scene. If for like the cool introverts who, you know, you're kind of like a weirdo a little bit in a huge crowd. Can connect with characters on the page. This app will be home and a hub for people to meet other people like them. You know, a lot of people, you know, you can't have book club conversations with everyone because everyone isn't a reader. But my books bring people together. You know, they bring readers together, and people have made some really, really valuable friendships just through connecting through my words. So that's always like an honor. And I always want to, you know, pay homage and give people a place to come to connect.
Yeah, I love that. And you have an interesting story too, that you have something similar in common with Lil Wayne and 50 Cent.
With Lil Wayne and 50 Cent?
Yes.
Well, Lil Wayne, well, not Lil Wayne. We signed a cash content deal with Baby and Slim years ago. When they started publishing books, they created an entity called Cash Money Content, and we were signed to that entity for many, many years. Baby and Slim has gone on to support the Ashley and Jaquavis brand for years to come. My husband is actually meeting with him in a couple days. Nice. So it was a really cool way to connect hip hop with books, you know, especially the genre that we write in. It was a way to pull music lovers to books and to pull us into a different business sphere. We learned a lot through negotiating those contracts and connecting with that type of industry. 50 Cent and I and Flavors, we share an agent. We're both repped at APA in Los Angeles. So we've had so many conversations with him and his team and our agents about doing something on the screen. We have a deal with Alcon Entertainment right now to turn Cartel into a television series. So we're moving through that process and hoping to take that out to pitch very soon.
Very cool.
That's the next progression to kind of get us on TV and theaters, you know, for television and film.
Yes, yes. I was going to ask, where do you see things going in the future, and what plans you have in the future too?
That's the goal. That's the biggest goal. Every
I love it.
creator wants to see, you know, their work manifested on the screen. So we're waiting for the right opportunity. We're super into controlling our IP and making sure that it presents well and authentically on screen. So if we can't find the right partners to do that, we won't, there's no compromising on that.
I love that. I love that. Because you have your vision and you're very strong on your vision and you want it portrayed that way, which is a lot of respect for sure.
Thank you.
Yay. Yeah. Everyone says, yay, Cartel TV. We're all down for it. We'll back you up. So what is it that you want to be remembered by?
I just want to be remembered for great storytelling. I want my name to be mentioned amongst strong Black female writers when, in 100 years. The good thing about books, I always tell people that books don't get old. Whether you pick up my book today or in 10 years, the experience of flipping that page for the first time will always be new. So I want to create content that's timeless. I want to create circumstances and characters that are timeless and that can stand the test of time. And I want to leave that legacy behind for my son to pick up the baton and start running when he's of age. I didn't have anything to start from when I was 17 years old. There was no legacy to pick up. There was no name to continue to better.
Right.
I'm the first generation of success in my family. So I want to solidify that and have it be really strong. So that way my son can have something that turns 18, something to continue. So I don't think that I'll change the world, but I know that he will. And I'm teaching him through my pen and through following my dreams that it's possible and that the expectation is greatness. There isn't anything else for him to be but great because he has great parents.
I love that. He sounds amazing too. Oh,
thank you.
Definitely. Is there some words that you would give someone whose advice that is wanting to get out of a dark place and wanting to turn their pain into something beautiful and to help others?
For one, if we're talking from a writing standpoint, which I of course tend to do because that's just my passion.
Yes.
I'd say just write it, to start writing it down. I always get people asking me, how do you write a book? How do you write a book?
Yeah.
What do I do? You write. That's the first step. You have to sit down and get it out of your head. You don't have to focus on it being right or wrong. You don't have to even care if it's good. Just get it down. When we first started writing, I wasn't an expert. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I was doing it right.
Wow.
I just knew that I loved it and that it was an outlet for all of these emotions that I was feeling at the time. I was experiencing death and grief and just all these overwhelming feelings that probably could have drowned me. And books were like a life vest. They really kept my head above water, and I got better over time. I wasn't afraid to put it out there for people to see. I wasn't afraid. I was in front of everybody. I didn't care if it was copywritten. Like, I just wanted people to read my work. So every opportunity that I had to make a new fan or to meet a new reader, I took it. I wasn't doing it for any other reason besides the passion of it. And once I did that, that pain turned into purpose. And I had a really clear picture of who I could become. So I would just recommend people to just get it out. Don't be afraid to get it on paper. Don't be afraid of being told no. I've been told no plenty of times.
Yeah, that happens.
And I'm still here. Honestly, the no's fuel me more than the yeses. The no's make me say, okay, now I got to prove something to this person.
Just watch me.
Yeah. Like, okay, you're going to regret that. No.
Yeah.
So you have to chase purpose. You have to turn pain to purpose. You can't drown you. And you have to be confident that the pain was for a reason. And you might not always understand it when it's happening. But when that moment comes full circle, everything will be crystal clear.
I love that. You inspired me so much. I'm going to start like journaling now, writing now, and then getting into the studio because I've been in a funk and kind of depressed. And so I'm like, I'm going to dance it out and think of you.
Dance it out. Like, and then you're an artist. You're expressing yourself in a completely different creative way. Creatives are so lucky during this time. Like, we're experiencing everything. We're feeling everything. But just because it feels bad doesn't mean you can't use that bad feeling as fuel too. I use everything as fuel. Not just the times when I'm happy. I'm not actually when I'm happy, I'm probably not writing as much. Like the bad stuff comes out the best in your art. Like it just pain is beautiful to me. So I love to write about it.
I love that. Yeah, and you're so good with your words and you're just so motivating. So many people have so much love for you. Yes. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell the viewers before we go?
Just thank you. Thank you so much for enduring this 17-year battle on the page with me. My books are not always easy to read. They hurt sometimes. I take my readers through every spectrum of emotions and they like rock with me. They rock out with me from beginning to end. So I always have to thank the Ashley and Jaquavis fans. I have to thank, we just made 2 USA Today lists within the span of a month of one another. And that is not an ode to us. That's an ode to the dedication of our fan base and the support.
I love you.
I just love them. My husband and I, we are always appreciative. We are always available and we never want to get so big-headed where we forget where we came from and the people that have uplifted us along the way. So thank you.
Oh, and Sheen Magazine loves you too so much.
You guys are great.
Yes, and everyone says they laugh, they cry, they love you, love you, love you, love you.
Thank you,
Jacqueline.
Awesome.
Thank you so much today.
Of course.
Bye, love. Thank you.
Bye.